Hey everyone, hope you're well. How's it all going? Just gonna recenter. Clear the DOMs for starting the stream. See what's happening. Hope everyone's session's gone well. It's been quite a nice balanced day today. A nice little sweep of the highs. So we'll see if we get any action. Hey mate, hope you're well. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. What's going on with you? You take any trades today? So we'll just have a quick look. I mean, the market pretty much just balanced here. Um, I didn't take any trades in the pre-market session. We just went bid again for the second day in a row. The market's closed pretty much at the low of overnight session, and then it opened. It's just went straight open drive to the highs, and then we got the nice little sweep of the overnight high, which was good. So we caught a fade here, and we got out roughly about here. So that was quite painless. And then we caught this bid off this level, which was really nice. Not huge trades in terms of tickage, but they were fairly straightforward. Let me see if I can show is it show order fills? Is that it? Yeah. So we took some sells here, and then we took some longs here. But this doesn't. I don't really need to look into this a little bit more, but it shows the positions pretty much that was taken here, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're currently in balance. But how's everyone doing? Did everyone have a good session? So we only took one contract here, got over here, and then we took the long. The long was really nice actually. It was a really good. It was a really good learning point because NQ went super bid. And ES basically had to play catch up, so it was a nice like eight to 10 ticks on it, to be honest. And it was good with like no drawdown, so it was nice. I'm happy with like I think I've made like 20 ticks today. It's great, you know. Copied across multiple different accounts. That's happy days. I'm relatively struggling today though because I was up super early this morning, so and I've already smashed like 5 coffees, so and I've got a really good coffee machine as well. Completely off topic to the markets, but I've got a really good coffee machine. Um, I've got an espresso Carista Pro. If you guys are into your coffee, it is a thing of beauty, to be honest. I don't know if I would spend that on it, but I got it as a gift, so it was really good. But enough of me talking about coffee, and let's have a look. So right now we are currently just straight up in balance. If we zoom in a little bit, this was complete bell curve. We did a little bit of trading up here yesterday, but then we just finished right at POC and we've just been rotating around that. So my usual rhetoric for the streams is when you're in no man's land right in the middle, you've got as much chance as tossing a coin right now to try and gauge the direction. The next inflection point for me to get involved is going to be if we get a flush down quite aggressively and then we get a nice sweep of my magical rectangle boxes where it's the previous day low, the overnight low, the initial balance low. I mean, we've got a ton of important levels down here. So the market likes, as we know, to sweep these levels and then quickly reverse back into value. If we do go back up here again quite aggressively, I would be a little bit more cautious just because we've hit this. We've hit it once, hit it twice, at this sort of level. Um, Not saying I wouldn't take the trade, but I would rather see a sweep to the downside and then have a fade back into the range, to be honest with you. That would be the ultimate outlook. Me, I am so far away from Netherlands. I'm Scottish, yeah. Some people, I suppose, if you're, some people mistake it for Irish sometimes, but yeah, yeah, it's extremely. If you're from this area, it's it's a very different accent to to English, to be honest. Yeah, and my accent is not that broad Scottish as well. You should hear some that are like really in the cities. To be honest, they're quite a lot. So trailing sucks unless trailing trailing. So what do you mean, Tonya? In terms of you mean you're trailing a trailing stop? Oh, sorry, you're talking about trailing drawdown. Right, sorry, I'm not tuning in here. Yeah, so trailing drawdown absolutely sucks. You're completely right. I actually feel that trailing drawdown is so far away from normal market conditions that it's just not even remotely fair. Like, I mean, end of day drawdown is hard enough, but trailing drawdown intraday. I mean, there's just no scenario where that's even remotely a thing, right? I mean, they can try and pitch it. They can try and pitch that as, oh, you'll take your base hits and you'll take all these little small profits and so on and so forth, right? I understand that. However, these things are put in place not to benefit the trader. They're there to cap their downside. You know, same thing as Top Step has a the what do they call it? They have a scaling plan. That's not in place to help the trader. That's in place to help their downside, right? Same as the 30% rule. I think for Apex, that's in place to help the downside. You would do the same if it was your firm and your company. You're not going to be wanting dudes passing and then just going all in, taking a huge bag and disappearing. So they've got to make it hard ultimately because they're giving you the opportunity to take a fair whack from them, right? But like everything with these things, it gives you access to more capital if you can manage it properly. The only thing I don't agree with at all is the live setup with some of these firms. There seems to be absolutely no advantage to me to going live with these firms just because you have to pay higher commissions. Not higher commissions, sorry. You have to pay higher data fees. For example, myself, I already pay my own data fees. I don't even use their data. Um, and they don't give you any more capital. They basically take your own money and put you in a live account, and then you have to give a percentage of your profits. You know what I mean? So I'm a little bit, unless someone can explain to me, unless I'm missing something, it almost seems like you take as much money from these firms as possible, and then you just go into your own account. I just don't really understand the point of trading live for them, to be honest. So you have top X and one funded on top step. Trailing, I think it's a trap unless you're a scalper. Exactly. Seems unfair. It's not for the trader. You have to pay. So me, I do both. I trade for firms. I've been with the Apex and Top Step, and then I trade my own personal accounts through Edge Clear. Yeah, so you can trade. It depends on your setups, right? I mean, completely. If you, I think if you're going to be trading NQ, you may be better to throw in some micros, but I just NQ's a wild asset, so I don't really trade it. So I would rather. Let me just adjust this chart. It's going to be a whack. I would rather. I trade mini contracts on ES. Typically, anything from 1 to 3 contracts, typically, and that's on the same as my own accounts. But I keep my stops really tight. Best firm according to me. Good question. Um, I would say if I had to pick one, I would probably say Top Step. To be honest, if I'm being honest, there's something that doesn't sit quite right with me about Apex. There's just something that doesn't sit right, and I've had multiple accounts with them in the past. The only thing I would say that's rough about micros is, of course, the commissions are much higher, right? For the only downside, and tick it depends on your style of trading, but tick to commission ratio is a thing. You know, if you go to treasuries, you're say we take ZB for example, it's like $32 a tick, and one for commission, it's like I don't know $3 or something. So your tick to commission ratio is so favorable. I mean, you could scratch like 10 trades and you know what I mean, it'd still be good. Hey guys, nice to see you all. Trade Day, I looked into Trade Day many, many moons ago, but they don't support Sierra as far as I'm aware. Um, and to be perfectly honest with you, all of these accounts are fine when you get into the funded part of them. They're all pretty much there, but for me, it's more the withdrawal process that I look out for. Um, because ultimately the passing of them, it's just a matter of time. If you don't rush, it'll take you probably what 4 to 6 weeks to pass. You know, if you don't go all in and stuff, and then it's the withdrawal process after that that's then important for me. So Apex is the most hoop jumping I have ever seen. 10 trading days. They're now incorporating more rules that I've seen. Um, and everyone goes on like, oh, they're great. You can copy like 20 accounts. Yeah, that's cool, but you still need to pay to set up 20 accounts. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit meh for me. Um, how do I approach commodities? So commodities are extremely. Hmm, so gold and oil, two main traded. I've never traded anything like any of the grains or anything. But gold and oil, wild assets, man. You know, uh, really thin books. So you need to. It's kind of similar to NQ, but not as crazy in my opinion. These markets move quickly, so if anything, you need to be cutting your stops even quicker. But the trouble is they're quite volatile, so you need to have a wider stop. Completely different markets. This is the thing. And if you're new to trading, honestly, go to a thicker market. It's much easier. You can see the order flow easier now. Some of you guys are maybe not trading order flow, but thicker markets are so much easier to read. NQ for example has just moved like 20, 30 ticks in the space of a second, while ES is like 2 and 3 ticks. Do you know what I mean? It's just a completely different market. And then I'm going to switch quickly here to treasuries so you guys can see this, right? But if you go to treasuries, now I'm going to switch back to hopefully boring market, right? But this is this is the thickest markets you can get. If you're brand new to trading, I advise you to spend some time in treasuries because you're not going to boom and bust in treasuries. You're going to really struggle. And look how thick these markets are. I mean, you've got right now this is quite low, but you've got like 1800 contracts in the bid and 4.3k on the offer, right? It takes a lot to move these markets, So you're not having these big boom and bust phase. If you're trading on the contrary, you're trading like gold or oil. These things are wild. You know, them having like 1.5% swings in a day is pretty normal. So if you don't get in the right side of these positions, you're in trouble. Whereas with treasuries, it's just a completely different market. So if you want to learn order flow, it makes sense to start in these conditions. So it's really slow. You can take your time. And what I mean by take your time, you have minutes to make a decision. If you're trading like NQ, if you don't make the right decision within a couple of seconds, probably even less than that, you've not got enough time. So these markets is a good way to start trading order flow. I still trade them. I don't. I prefer ES because there's more sweeps, and I'm typically a mean reversion dudes. But these markets, if you get on the right trend, are pretty straightforward. And if you watch the DOM, there's orders that get pulled when the market comes in, and it's just not the same. You don't see as aggressive sweeps of levels. It doesn't just go like 5 ticks randomly. It's just a completely different side. But I won't bore you anymore with equities, and we'll jump back into the indices here. Um, Apex forced a gamble mindset with the trailing drawdown, and then lets you trade into all the contracts and funded. Yeah, it's easy to link Top Step to Sierra. I wouldn't say so. If any of these firms that you're using, they're all going to use Rhythmic as their data provider, right? But you don't need to. You can use Denali data feed, but you need to have a live broker account to do it. But I would always advise to use Denali feeds with Sierra, and I'm not just saying this. I've not got any reason to say it, but it is so reliable. I'm not joking. I I I think it was maybe my computer, but I've had one crash and I've used this for years. It just doesn't. They've just built such a good piece of kit. It's so reliable. I can't think of any other software I've ever used that's more reliable than what they provide. And I normally like to moan, to be honest with you. So I would say go with Denali data feed, and then you can use Rhythmic or RTrader for your routing. You don't need to use them for data. You just leave the data part blank, is what you can do. Trade Day is good, but sadly I had to never jump into them because they don't have Sierra, and I'm so ingrained into Sierra that it's hard for me to. It's just hard for me to change platforms. Like I've saw all these promotions and stuff with new firms like Top Step. I'm not going to get started in Top Step X, to be honest with you. Um, but you couldn't give that to me for free. If you gave that product to me for free, I still wouldn't use it. You know what I mean? I just still wouldn't use it. It's just not my thing. So in terms of thicker markets, I would go with probably ES Treasuries. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's some grain that you could probably get into if you want, and maybe Euro stocks or the Bund. In fact, yeah, you're from the UK, aren't you? So yeah, check. I would go with the Bund or the FTSE or something along those lines, man. Thicker markets. Ones you don't want to be trading is like the DAX and NQ, in my opinion. I just don't understand the appeal of NQ. It's just me personally. Some people love the thing. It's just uh, you know I just find it really difficult to read. It's more the Dow. So these three markets, I should probably go over what these are for. There's quite a few new people in the stream. So I mainly trade ES. I have market profile down the bottom left, right, that I use for context on the specific day and on the week. I consolidate the previous week into its own profile, so I can see where large volume nodes were, and then I have each specific day is then for the week is then broken down. So right now we're just currently in balance. We're filling out this sort of lower volume load of last week, and then we're right in yesterday's point of control. So for me right now, this is just, you know, everyone can crack on and guess positions, but for me there's no edge right now. So and I've been trading for that long now that like any time I try and trade in here, I just get my arse handed to me. So like I would rather make 300-400 quid a day, uh, and just be done. I don't need to. How many times have you guys traded? You had a decent couple hour session, and when it gets to the end, you start looking at trades and forcing positions and give back your margin. And then on the other DOMs that I have up, I simply use for correlation. So, for example, we can see that everything is ticking up at the moment, right? NQ tends to be the one that leads, so because it's the wild brother. And when you have clean, really smooth and clean price action, um, I'll clear this. You need them all to move at the same time. And that's when you get that really clean price action, right? And then if you see the likes of the order's been pulled, so we saw NQ drop there, for example, but then it's instantly went bid. Another markets are holding. If we see some size coming into NQ here and dropping, and the bid gets pulled here, but someone is holding up here and refreshing on the bid. If this goes, we'll maybe tick down a few ticks, but you're going to needing a bit of correlation. You can see it's happening across all markets right now. They're kind of absorbing right now, and considering the Russell is right at the point of control, you know. And if you ever get to the point of control or a really dense um, part of the book that's been traded out, there's just always going to be back and forth around that price, you know. But the keys in the book for when you see price stopping. So look at this, for example, at this 28 level here, right? You're seeing 300 lots on the bid. So this is MBO data. So this is in essence, out of this 492, 300 contracts is in one clip, in one single order. None of these other contracts that are all the way in the bid here are are greater than 50 contracts, because otherwise it would flash, right? And what that means is if sellers start getting aggressive into the bid here, right, you'll see that these can be pulled. Okay, so the market's ticked down here, then 20's been pulled. They're actually refreshing, for example. So now they've got this 20 here in NQ. Let's see if they can take that out. Where the market moves to these large orders, and you always see a sort of inflection point off them, and the market tends to stop there, right? Did you watch the latest GameStop? No, to be honest, I'm not really involved in individual equities, especially the sort of small and mid cap stocks. Not really. I've got my hands enough full with current markets, to be honest with you. Um, but all of them like orders below it, so it should come back to the 70 order, right? So are you seeing on NQ here, Tonya, where you're seeing the 50s here, you're seeing a 70 lot? Yeah, well, this is the thing. It doesn't always have to come back here, right? Because if you watch that recent video I put up about the um, what it takes to be profitable, um, basically these firms are working the bid and offer, right? So right now, when it's in this sort of state of play where we're in pre-market point of control, and we're sort of just ranging around yesterday's point of control and market profile, you're just going to see a lot of large orders, and the market goes, it goes aggressively into the offer, and then back into the bid, and then you're up and down a few ticks. The point of control now here is just changed for the day as well. So that the next setup, what we'll probably see, or at least for me to start paying attention, is we'll go back up into this high. We'll see if we hit it aggressively and sweep. It's even better if we start pulling orders here on the offer, and we go aggressively into this level, and then it will pull. But sometimes you need to be aware that these guys are playing games, and what I mean by that is the longer these large orders are here on the book, the higher likelihood they're going to get filled, right? But what they can do sometimes is they can place a 300 lot here, right, to try and engineer more people to start buying because they're actually working the offer. They can do that, you know. So we start seeing these games and these sort of tactics at key inflection point levels. For me, I almost like to see that because it's just a massive game of theory that these dudes are playing. You know, and they're not there to manipulate us. They're there to try and catch out other big firms. You know, and typically, you know, the really quick market making firms, what they're doing is if they say 300 here's flashed on the bids, they would refresh. They would refresh here because they know there's got some size behind them, right? So then the actual firm that's flashed here could be working the offer, and then they get more liquidity into the offer and then pull the bid. You know, we don't do that all the time, but you just need to be aware that if they aggressively lift into the offer here and we clear all this and we go up to this sort of 40s evens area, and then we start to see absorption, then they'll potentially try and then work the offer up there and then smash price back down into sort of equilibrium again, you know. And they're the types of times that I get involved in the market. If I scroll back a little bit here, once the range is set, look at the amount of times we sweep this. So this was the high, okay, we went back, we then swept to level, pulled back, okay, we then come back up again, you know, consolidated above the high, we then went back down, and whereabouts did we sweep? We swept to low. We then swept to low, come back down, just before the market opened, drove price right up, and then we swept overnight high. It does this all day, and we're just about to trying to do it again. So they're the type of areas that I pay attention to. So I have the full Sierra package. I've got package 12 for MBO data, and I think I pay, I think it's about $40 a month, and I've got the full CME suite with full level 2. So let's look for a point of reference here. Okay. Um, in order for this to continue going bid, we're going to need to see NQ. NQ is the one that's going to hit the highs here first if we're to go bid. Okay. But we've got these orders up here. Now, my theory on this is I would never be shorting when prices, for example, here. I would always wait for a run in the highs. Because everyone that's been shorting here, right, for the day, whereabouts are they placing their absolute stop? It's going to be up here. So now this is what I'm saying, they're working the bid, right? So let's see if these orders get pulled. So they're doing this to then start engineering some more size. This is precisely what I'm talking about. And just see if these orders get pulled. Watch these orders, this 80, 70, 70. Let's see if they actually trade. We'll clear the DOM as well, and let's refresh the delta here. Okay, so we can see there's tons of buying going on right now, clearly, but 312 at this price, 152. Okay, so watch these orders, see if they get pulled. If NQ hits the bid here aggressively, and these orders get pulled, we could probably tick down like 4 ticks. So see, they're not been pulled. That was traded out. And we can see there's a bit of an iceberg here. Continual refreshing, 318 taken. NQ's the one that's ticking down. Let's see if the sellers can aggressively hit into the bids here. So they are. There's then more refreshing going on, continuous. So there's been 300 absorbed in this price, another 200, and another 100 has then been refreshed. So if buyers start getting a bit aggressive here and lifting into the offer, but NQ is also ticking down. So we need a tick up in NQ for this to go bid. Sorry, I was on mute, guys, and I've just been talking to myself. Sorry about that. So we'd see tons of absorption here on the bid, right? There's 1,000 contracts right now. Someone's continually refreshing this price. So sellers need to try and gain control of 36 evens, and hold some size below it, which is going to be NQ that's going to lead, right? But until then, if buyers now start getting aggressive, then the next target's then going to be the highs up here. Okay, and we'll continually refresh just so you guys can see the recent price action. So notice that the 36 evens, the sellers need to try and gain control, or whoever's absorbing here needs to stop, because right now they're continually absorbing on the bid. And it's happening on these other markets as well. Some real size has been trading here on NQ. Sorry about the not being able to hear, guys. That was me potatoing with my glorious mic skills. So if that's how you're essentially meant to be spotting when orders are to be pulled or stacked. So like right now, when the market is hitting into this level, say there's 220 or 230 on the bid, right? Orders to be pulled, you need to notice what's actually trading. Okay, and what's on the left hand side is red is selling, what's on the right hand side here is buying. Okay, someone is still willing to absorb an offer here, so if they can crack these levels, we're probably just going to sweep the high, because someone has been absorbing here as well. We've seen a lot of battling round about the sort of 36 evens to 37 has been absorbed in the offer, but here we go. So NQ is now ticking up, which should show ES to try and hit these levels here. But NQ is going to be the catalyst for this trade. Would I be taking a breakout when the VIX is this low? Absolutely not. Do I have a pet? A pet? Yeah, yeah. I've got a pet. Why? Can you hear? Can you hear? What makes you? What makes you ask that? So feel free to ask any other questions, guys. And which markets are on the DOMs? So we have ES here. This is ES. This is NQ. This is Russell, and this is the Dow. I don't trade the Dow and the Russell. I really only trade ES, and I use these others for correlation. As I say, they tend to move. So in order for this to ultimately break these highs comfortably, we're going to need to see a tick up in the Russell and the Dow. The Dow's the one that's almost leading at the minute, and then NQ will need to go bid. Otherwise, it sort of creates a better thesis for the sweep happening if it does happen. And see, to be honest, if we don't get a sweep, I wouldn't even consider taking a position. Hear a cat voice? I'm not too sure. It's maybe TV or something you're hearing. But no, I don't have any cats. I've got doggos. Do I like football? Adam, whereabouts are you from? Are you meaning like football, English Premiership, or Scottish football, or NFL? I actually prefer NFL, to be honest. Especially when you're from Scotland as well. The football's shit. Yes. Yeah. Tonya, that's the high. That's the high of the day. That refreshes obviously every day. So that's the high of the session, and you can see that someone is offering just above the high of day. So what you would like to see, and if this sells off from here, then that's fine. But what I would like to see is some aggression coming into the offer, right? Market been pulled, and as we get here, we see a blip, and then we start seeing large amounts been worked in the offer, and then some size, and then I want to see some orders been pulled, and then I can typically get in for like 8 to 10 tick risk, and then the trade should be pretty painless. If you watch some of the previous streams or some of the order flow videos, when you get in with order flow at the correct time, it's it's painless. It's the best chance you're gonna have. You're not sitting through 30-40 minutes of just choppiness. Because the thing is, if in my opinion, if you enter a trade, right, then you think it's going to break out, and the market goes down like 10 ticks, in my opinion, your thesis is wrong. You should be out and then wait for another reattempt for it to happen. You don't just sit through and let it go against you, you know. An order flow should provide you the context so that you can try and time it when the breakout should be happening. And for a breakout to happen, you need to see all equities popping at the same time. You want to see some size come in. I use tick strike on my day-to-day stuff. I don't have it on in the stream because the ticking is quite annoying. Ronaldo and Messi football. Yeah, so I watch football. Yeah, not a major fan, but I do watch it. I only like to watch the big games. Really looking forward um, to all the cups coming up for the internationals. That'll be good. I like that. Right, I hope we can break this till we see a trade happen. To be honest, the only thing that makes me a little bit cautious about this is the fact that we've now spent like 2 days um, in this exact range, and it has to break out sometime, right? But then there is probably a higher probability that we're just going to go back into value. But what I can really see them doing, aggressively hitting price and sweeping here and then come back down. But are we going to do that? 2 hours or whatever. Before close on a Tuesday with no data points? Probably not. Probably not. And we've not the delta is not really massive on the day. We're plus 585 delta on the day, but there is the previous day high, so they could very easily run this up to the previous day high, and they should do it pretty aggressively. So the two main thesis from here is we just go up here, sweep back into value, or they aggressively lift into the offer, and then we go back and sweep the high and then pull back. What's a little bit concerning for the fade on this is the fact it's consolidated so close as well. So it just makes me a little bit more cautious about the trade. Nice, that's a good way to do it. So if you're a visual learner, then by all means screen print this stuff, and draw stuff on it. It's a good way to do it. A lot, I think I learn as well by writing stuff down, or at least noting it anyway. So we can see here there is a lot of absorption up here. We're gonna need to the market's gonna really need to go bid to crack these levels here. There's gonna need to be a lot of delta come in at this level. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, whatever people can learn by, everyone's got their own learning methods. People some people like to watch videos, some like to listen to podcasts, some like to make notes. Whatever which way, man. If everyone gets to the same spot, we're all here to try and make some money and learn and meet some like-minded traders. The main goal. So 300 here absorbed on the bid, with this continually been refreshed. Do you notice how there's just no real action at this time? I mean, we've been at this price now, guys, like what, these 4-5 ticks for like 30 minutes or something? Well, we want to see some action so we can see this absorption at the highs. It's a good talking point. But did you guys take any trades? Here we go, there's the bid. So it needs to crack this level. We're seeing now 300 absorbed. The price action is just not very clean. If NQ has still been absorbed here as well, you'll notice here just if NQ breaks the highs and holds above the highs, this will go as well. You know, the NQ tends to bring the market down a couple of ticks. But as I said, the waiting, just shorting this right now where it's at the highs is extremely dangerous. You might as well just wait for the sweep, to be honest. Here we go. Now if the offer gets pulled here, then we should see this crack through quite aggressively. And watch NQ. Dow's already going. Russell's ticking up. We need NQ to crack here. If NQ can crack, this is going to go. There we go, ticked up. Can NQ go? They're flashing on the bid. Here we go, let's see. NQ's went, it's tight little, slight little sweep. This needs to go up here and hold for this to break. There we go. Notice the quick little sweep. Okay, and you instantly seen there 400 or 500 contracts, and then the market will probably tick down. NQ's just hit the highs, then an instant snapback. So now you need to be thinking to yourself, okay, and at the moment when the VIX is so low, they're hitting it by a couple of ticks. And then you're ultimately trying to be getting back down to this 100 lot is your ultimate goal, unless it's pulled. But now you're watching really closely, right? So we'll quickly refresh these. Okay, you can see the delta now is coming in negative. You want to see these orders been pulled here. Like someone is refreshing. You want to see some sellers come in aggressively and tick down. Okay, so they're absorbing, which is not fantastic. You want to see them come in a bit aggressive. Yeah, see there's essentially an iceberg here. Okay, they're continually absorbing on the bid. If they can crack this and NQ can tick down, then this is good, but you're going to need some sell side aggression. This continual refreshing is not what you want. You need some size to come in and these orders to be pulled. But there also it's nice that the market is drilling in, you know, so this is good. And this is why you would always wait for the sweep, right? Having taken a short prior and having your stop above the high is bananas. You know, and comfortably, if you're taking a stop, you'd have your stop above here, and then you're looking to get out at, you know, the sort of 35 area. I would much rather prefer if this was a little bit more painless, if the bid was been pulled, you know. And also NQ's now ticking up. So not the cleanest action. So now we've had the first hit of it. Now we're probably going to now go and break this. But the first time the market cracks a level like that, you're always going to see a retick by like 4 or 5 ticks. And it depends how aggressive they come into the level. The more aggressive into level, the better. See, this sort of slow grind up is actually not great. Slow grind to death, they call it. It's not nice. And also, guys, if you've not liked the stream, make sure and do so for me. Let me see what you're saying. You're only watching about to make up the chart. We'll post in Discord so you can have a look at it to make sure if they're good. Yeah, sounds good. Make sure and post in there. Let me know what you're thinking. Have you got Sierra charts and stuff, or in demo or free trial or whatever? Or if you're not using that and you just want to mark up the DOM, make sure you're doing it. Then crack on. Fire all the questions away. See, this is exactly what you wouldn't want to be seeing now. You know, if you were to be shorting. I typically have a rule: if it hits it aggressively and then the bid has not been pulled and you're seeing that absorption, I'm normally out because now it just turns into guessing, right? Especially with NQ ticking the highs. Do you want to learn how it works before it gets okay? Tonya, if you want to watch the DOM video, the how to read the DOM, I think it's actually in the description of this video. I'm not sure if you've watched that, and then you can ask any questions around that. I sort of cover what all of these columns are, what you're looking at. Okay, let's see how this is going to work. Let's see if they're going to continually crack through it. Delta is not that high at the moment. See, that's the kind of pulling you want to be seeing. So it just dropped 3 ticks. It wasn't because any selling came in, it's because the bid was pulled. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So you can see there the market's dropping. It's not because there's aggressive selling, it's because the bid has been pulled. And we've seen now the guts of about 4,000 contracts absorbed in these three prices. So the sell position is still on at the moment. You want to see it break this level. It struggled at this level before, right? So you need to see them essentially crack through this level. And that 100 lot that was down here has now been pulled as well. So you need NQ to tick down. It's seen a bit of absorption itself. There's 40 contracts absorbed, 50 now. In order for this sell to essentially work, this needs to NQ needs to relax, but it's still ticking higher. Watch this 40s evens to see what happens. The market, if it hits aggressive into it, it'll potentially just tick back off it. Especially with these sort of larger orders here. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You really need to watch, put it into live market, and then probably come back onto the live streams and watch the DOM. How's the video quality for you guys? Is it really crisp? Can you see it all? Like, is it good? Um, like it's not blurry or anything. You can see all the action. You can see the correlations. Okay, so notice still the amount of absorption here, and watch the bid being pulled here. If you're selling, this needs to go. This is the same level. They need to aggressively hit into the bid. And then Q drops here, then we should see the bid being pulled. But you still need to be super cautious here. Your end risk if you're short is going to be up here, because if it breaks here, there's no reason why it can't go up to here. You know. So you've already had the first sweep. The market has come up to retest. 119 executed. Let's see this here. So there's 160 flashing. Let's see if they can see that. 160, full 165 traded. Okay, you want to see these orders been pulled. So there's 119 there. They're just drilling into the price. And also NQ is ticking down as well. But with the VIX been so low, you're not getting the market just capitulating like 10, 15 ticks without stopping. It's gone down 3 ticks up to, you know, it's just not clean action at all. There's not enough volume at this time, to be honest. And now we're now seeing refreshing again, so you need some sellers to be aggressive, and NQ drops here. We're seeing the delta getting quite aggressive. So you want to see some continual drilling motion. As soon as it goes offered, it ticks back down. You want to see that refresh. There we go. Takes out, tick down. Yep, pulled. Nice. Now you need to clear these orders. You normally see a little tick back off here. They're just aggressively hitting. And now these are being pulled. The NQ's going. And then we see a slight little pullback. This is exactly what I'm meaning by the low VIX. So someone now is flashing right here. Okay. So our buyer is going to take all of this out. There's so much aggressive delta that just come in right now on the sell side. So you need to see this. You need to see sellers start to gain control. Then we have this constant goes down 4 ticks, and then you're back up at your entry, for example. It's annoying as hell when that happens. So do you notice the difference in action there, guys, when the orders were being pulled, right, and the market's just cutting through prices, you know? When you've got aggressive selling and orders been pulled and the correlations happen at the same time, painless, you know? Back up the Brinks truck, as the saying would go. It's lights out. They're the most easy trades that you're going to get, but trying to time it is the hard part. But you can try and give yourself the best setup. And this is why I said I took 2 trades today, and I was out. Didn't take as much profit as I would like on them, but they were painless. I was in and out of them in probably a couple of minutes, to be honest, because I'm not willing to get a sell in here, go down to this price, and then watch it now come back, you know, back up to my entry, and then before we know it, we're sweeping the highs again. I want to get in where they're aggressively hitting into the bids, the orders are pulled, and I can get it really clean. Because right now, someone is absorbing 400, 500 contracts, are still flashing right now to absorb. So sellers need to now break this price if they're to come down. And it's going to need some fresh size to come in. Oh, nice, you can see all that. Good. Good, I'm glad you guys think it's nice and clear. Which is good. See, this is not the type of price action you want to be seeing. Grim for your sell position. If I was short up here and this starts happening, I would be scratching right now. I'm not holding on to this anymore. NQ's ticking up, I'd be out. There's nothing that stops this can back up now and sweeping the highs. If this was to go, it would have already went down here. You would have saw the bid continued to be pulled, and you needed a sweep with all different markets going down. That didn't happen. Now you're back at your entry. Now the short's now gone. Now all you're doing is just holding it because you've got that. I need to get 1-to-1 when you're in. No, you don't. Focus on profit factor and focus on preserving your capital. Just because you take a trade and it comes back, you can always get back in. If you take a scratch, it's cost you $4 or something. Who cares? There's no point watching this, go back and taking a full stop on it, or even worse, you've got a 15 tick stop in this and you've got all the way up here, it cracks the level and you're thinking, oh well, it can still go back down. Just get out here. If the market sweeps and gives you another entry, then great. So, well, that makes sense. You need to, the thesis here for this trade is if you're to get in short and there's a sweep happening, right? Clearly, whoever is done buying was happy to absorb, and in your last saloon was this price when you're still seeing all this absorption. Someone is continually refreshing here, and you're going to need some real aggression and a tick down in NQ for this to break. You know what I mean? They're continually reloading here. This is the last thing you want to be seeing if you were selling. The last thing. You know what I mean? So it's all in the book. You just need to know what you're looking for. Because all it takes right now is for buyers to start getting aggressive here and some orders to be gone, and then next thing you're here. But NQ is ticking down, it's causing you to break that price. When it ticks back up, then you're back at it. You know, you're going to need NQ and some correlations to work in order for this to go down. But then the trouble is, if I get my little trusty, if I get the level that this stopped, which is here, you then need to try and break this level, right? If you're on the sell side. And see when you're correct from this, when you catch a sweep, this is the type of action that happens. The market goes up, it sweeps the levels, you're in here, and then it just drops. It doesn't have this, continual absorption at the level, you know. You're going to need NQ to go here. If this can go down here with some size, you'll maybe see this tick. Let's see how the order flow behaves, but it's not. Does that make sense to you guys? What I'm saying at the moment? Basically, there's no reason for you to be holding on to a short right now for this, just because your plan suggests that you've got to take a minimum static stop. You don't need to do that. Do you know what I mean? Because if the market was to go down, it would already went down. You know, clearly someone is not done working the bid, or the market would be down. You know, and there's a lot of large traders that are trading around this level as well. So let me know if that makes sense, guys. If you've got any questions about that, if I'm not being as clear about it, but I feel like right now you're a bit in no man's land. You need the correlations to work right now in order for this to have some clean price action, but you're kind of really pushing the boat out at a couple hours before close. The next real volume is going to come in probably in the next 50 minutes roughly. You start to see a little bit more of an uptick in volume. Oh, you took 5 ticks and you're waiting. You took a 5 tick profit on there. Well done. That's that's great trading. That's fantastic, honestly. That's what you let order flow dictate your entries and exits. If it's to go, it's to go, man. When it starts to see an absorption, the market ticks back. Just take it. If NQ goes here, we can see this tick down a few ticks, but we need to break this yellow line where we saw the absorption happen. So there we go. It's 155 traded. There we go. So there's 140 roughly here. Let's see if it fully trades. 99 now. If they can aggressive, let's see if they can continually hit into the bid. This is still fine. It's still reloading. You want to see this continually aggressive now and needs to be pulled and this to drop. See, someone's holding this in NQ. This needs to be broken here for this to go down. We're seeing a tick down again on other ones. We would like to see the Dow come down as well. So instantly 120 then hit there. You want to see them be gone at this level because this is where they're happy to absorb again. We want to see this level be cracked if we're selling. And ultimately now, the price should not be revisiting back up here or even this 32 and a quarter. The market should not be going there. We broke there. There we go. There's the sweep. The guy that was still holding there is gone. If NQ can go here, then we're going to re-challenge the POC. But just be wary. Just be wary that we're in this VIX market, right? So you go down the 3 ticks, little mini stop run, then back up 3. This is where, for me, when you're getting, if you were short here and you've got like 10 ticks, just gladly take it. You're in that trade for a couple of minutes, for example. Do you know what I mean? Do you guys see the difference in the flow for how that worked versus when they were holding on the offer, right? Sorry, holding on the bid. Okay, And you notice how there was correlations that worked there, right? NQ hit into the bid aggressively, that went, and then you saw that guy that was absorbing at the yellow line. He was gone, then we instantly ticked down 4 ticks. That's the kind of flow, that's what you want to be seeing, right? And it's just sad that we're in a really, really low VIX environment where you don't get these 15, 20 ticks capitulation. Also, us getting down to this 33.5 region without seeing a stoppage at the point of control is pretty unlikely, you know. So you're going to be holding this trade for a while, and ultimately, if you can get your quick and easy trades, you'll need a couple of these trades a day, man, and you're done. Especially if you're copy trading or you're doing it on your own personal accounts, you know. Nice, nice, exactly, exactly. And then you can, if you only lose a couple of ticks, you get tons of times to re-enter, you know. You never really need to take a full stop if you don't need to, because one of the things that you hear so many people saying is, oh well, it's just about to hit my stop loss, I'll just hold it. But people don't do that when it's to take profit. But you should let the order flow dictate what you're doing, not a random line in a chart, right? You know, because in my opinion, as soon as you start praying and let hopium dictate your decisions, you're a goner. You know, this provides you a literally second by second pulse on the market of what's happening. And it also gets good where you guys are only seeing the DOMs. I have things going in my ear, um, with TickStrike and other platforms that allows me to see other flows that are coming into the market because everything is correlated, right? And if you watch that other video where we discussed, these big firms are working so much different markets, or so many different markets. Sorry, excuse my bad English. Um, but yeah, so they're going to be working the underlying. They'll be working options. They'll be working the individual equities and stocks, and they'll be hedging it across the board. We don't know their exposure at any given time, but you get insights into when size moves, and these guys have the money to ultimately move the market. We don't. As much as the likes of ICT and stuff likes to think that people stop hunting, do all that sort of stuff. They don't. You know, they just don't do that. It's collectively, where positions are going to be held and where all the volume is situated, right? And if you keep this mindset and you keep this clear head and be conscious about managing stuff, you're always going to be there tomorrow. And that's the number one thing that a lot of traders can't say. As soon as you can master that, to be there tomorrow and use these tools efficiently to keep you on the right and wrong side, you know, then you're always going to come back tomorrow. That's the main thing. Here we go. Let's see. We're right back up at the yellow line, but we're still seeing more absorption. You can thank your low VIX friend for this. Personally, I have always just been a buy and hold crypto guy, to be honest. Just the way I am. Crypto is extremely volatile. I've never even looked at crypto on a DOM like that. I'd imagine BTC would be, to be honest, but again, the problem with that is it's not centralized. So, you know, you've it's not like the CME where everything is centralized. Maybe trading it on the CME, I would need to have a look at it. I wonder how thin the book is, actually. In fact, is that a CME product? Can you do it and I'll bring it up? What's the ticker for BTC and I'll bring it up. I want to see what flows on the DOM for it. I'd imagine it's not going to be very thick, is it? It's going to be interesting. Is it MBTC or something? I don't think it's just a micro, isn't it, or something like that. Yeah, the trouble with BTC if you're to trade it not through futures is you're basically back to Forex or CFDs where it's not centralized. So nothing's reliable, and futures is a great market or asset class in general. Centralized. You get to see the same here. You're in a different country from me as an example, and you get to see the same on the bid and offer as me. You know, Everyone interprets it differently, but it's a level playing field, and that's all I'm after in these games. Is understand these guys have more money than me. They've got more resources. They've got more capital under management. You know, they're doing this as their absolute full-time job. It's hard to compete against that, but at least I can see the same shit as them. You know, and I just need to get a little insight a couple of times a day when the volume is high is when they're throwing their games. And that's it. I started trading. Oh, been trading for 9. This is actually my 10th year. Still say it's 9 until the 10 is actually. Started trading many years ago. I've actually got a funny story of how I started trading, right? And this shows you that everyone starts. Now I'm really deep into the market, and it's taken me many years. I first started martingaling into binary options. Oh, jeez, man, that was grim. Look at NQ's going. Let's see if we can break this level, this yellow line. We swept through this last time. So if NQ can go, it needs to crack this 25. Market's bounced off this 25 lot. If we can crack here, we're trying. There we go. See, NQ's just not breaking this 25 lot, is it? Yeah, I started, like 10 years ago, martingaling into binary options. And then it dawned on me, I was like, there's probably more to this. No, no, I don't know if you've ever looked into binary options. It's not trading, man. It's just you guess a time where the market's going to go and it closes. It's pretty much a scam, to be honest with you. But yeah, martingaling and trading or averaging into losses and stuff is just never a good strategy, to be honest. It ends up creating that mentality where you don't admit when you're wrong. There we go. Let's see if we can break this 50 lot. It's bouncing on it again. Let's see. There we go. It's broke it. Some size comes in now. This should go on ES as well. It's just not going, is it? See if we can try this time. Shocking price action, honestly. Oh no, 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 no. I've traded a lot of different products, man. I've traded, well, binary options. I didn't really trade it very long. It was probably like a couple of days. And then I went into CFDs and FX for a couple of years. Cut my teeth in there, learned strategies, learned how the market sort of worked, lost money like everyone does. Um, you know, and then ultimately worked my way towards OrderFlow in futures, to be honest. Oh look, man, everyone loses money in this. It's just part of the thing. And anyone that tells you that have never lost money in the market, just ignore what they're saying. It's a lot of nonsense. Right, let's see. Can it, I mean, it's just not very clean, is it? Like, this guy's 1,000 lots. Come on, hit aggressively. We need NQ to go down. We need this guy to stop working the bid. We need some size to come in. If you were short here, you stop again. You're just not willing for this to go back up against you. It's just shocking price action. Typically, when you've got this, sweep of the highs, it just starts dropping. It's not a great time because the volume's never that high at the moment. And it's going to be in an hour's time, but not right now. Typically quite slow. Right, surely there's going to be a bit of follow through here, rather than 2,000 contracts been absorbed in one price. Then next target, if this does go to the downside, we're going to look to target the 33.5 at POC, which was the original target if you were shorting up here. So we should see this be dropping. NQs aggressively hitting into the bid. Some size. Do you notice though we're not just getting this clean sweep? You know, it's down 2 ticks, back up 1. You know, down 2. It's not ideal. So if this does go, then you'll maybe get another sort of 10 ticks, but it's going to be a struggle, to be honest. I can just you see it. Unless some real size comes in right now and we start seeing bids pulled, we're just doing this back to the yellow line. You know, I mean, it's giving you 3 ticks, then back up 3. You know, shocking, honestly. Does everyone understand what I'm saying regarding the, you know, the price action like that? You know, the market should be going there. Yeah, so we're cutting through. Let's see if we can continue on. But now that we've went down there, and now the guy's now back absorbing here, if we don't, and it's not a huge amount of delta either, you know, it could really go anyway at the moment. You want to be seeing this being super clean, drilling into the bed, off the bed being pulled, you know. I mean, look at this right now. There's just no volume. 31 contracts traded in here. Jeez. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Oh, there we go. Can we get some follow through? Come on. So 20's been pulled. Is this guy? You know, you need to see these bids when they come in, like 147 on the bid, and then it hits it, and then just nothing trades. It's where you get this sweep. But we're just seeing this continual drop of 2, back up 2. It's this is when I like if I take a couple of trades and this happens to me and I end up taking a couple of 3-4 tick losses for this, I just switch off my screen. You know, like I run the risk of just fighting air. So I'm like, look, there's no edge here for me. This is shocking. You know, it can go down, but like realistically, we're not going through this 33.5 without it going back up a few ticks. You know, it's not going to happen. Nice to see you, buddy. Good for you to join. Did you guys take any trades today, and just in general? Hope you had a green day if you took some positions. Also, if you're new to the stream, if you could make sure and hit the like button for me, it's much appreciated. And also, while your finger is at the like button, there's a nice little subscribe one there. Press that too. Takes you 2 seconds. Doesn't mean a lot to you, but it means a lot to me, man. So if you could do that, I'd be much obliged. Okay, so we're seeing a little bit of NQ is really going here. Here we go. Yes, it's just not reacting. You're welcome, buddy. Green played ES and NQ, joining squeezes, that kind of day. Nice one. I caught the fade. Didn't. Oh, I need to make sure not miss this. Right, let's see if we can crack here with the bid being pulled. NQ goes down. We should see this sweep. There's someone still absorbing 311 here. Not ideal. Right, aggressively hit into the bid, and this is pulled. NQ is going to be the deciding factor. Let's recenter. Okay, if NQ can break here, we should potentially see this tick down, and then watch 33.5 if we do get there. The market will probably tick up 3 ticks from there if we do get there. but with nothing's really going to change right now. I mean, we've seen the market go down to, up to, down to, up to, back to the yellow line, and then you're pulling your hair out. You know, it's why I never, like, if I've not made my money by now, like, I try to not trade. I just get my arse handed to me too much. But Sicko, nice to have you here, buddy. Glad you're enjoying it. It's a different perspective of the market. You know, we're not here about drawing random rectangles, except my random rectangles are accurate rectangles because we use OrderFlow to confirm them. So 800 absorbed here in offer, some big traders, whatever which way it cracks here, we're going to see some price move. You know, NQ needs to crack the 55s. If we can do that, the bid has been, it's been really pulled right now, which doesn't mean very much. If they can crack this 33, no 35 and 3/4, which we're not, and then notice NQ is ticking up, so you're just back in no man's land again. So, do you see, like when you're taking these fades up here, right? This when you look at the market in hindsight, this looks a good trade, but actually, it's extremely hard to hold through this because you're down three, up three. You've got absolutely no idea. It's not very clean, you know. And that's the problem. I mean, right now the offer's been pulled, NQ's ticking up, and before you know it, you could be back up here. You know, so it's why if you were short in here, and this is a key component of the VIX. I can't. You probably hear me saying this at least 3 times a stream. You need to be paying attention to the VIX. If the VIX is absolutely at the lows, you need to be reducing your targets and stuff. And of course, when you're reducing your targets, you reduce your stops. But nice you had a green day, man. That's good to see. Let me know if you've got any other questions, anyone. And now, for example, right, see now that we've hit this, if we do go back up here, so we've hit it once, twice, 3 times, I'm no longer taking this. How many times can a market sweep a level before it cracking? Do you know what I mean? Like, you start to push your luck. The VIX. The VIX is the volatility index, the fear index. When the volatility is much higher, the VIX is, up in the sort of 17, 18s, at least above 15 anyway. It's currently at like 13. So when you check the VIX basically, when the VIX is really low, the market revisits prices a lot, doesn't have much follow through. There's just not big ranges in the market. Everything's really tight. It's slow. You know. Whereas otherwise, when the VIX is like 20, you could be shorting this here, and it will just drop like 15 ticks. You need to slightly increase your risk a little bit, to be honest with you, because it can go the other end too. But the market, if you're timing it correct with the order flow, the market can be dropping 15, 20 ticks in a heartbeat. You're not going to be getting this down two, up two, down three, up one, you know, 1,000 bids, 1,000 offered, uptick to back to yellow line. You're not getting this nonsense, right? Because we've been here now for what is this, like maybe an hour, right? And the market's been in like a 10 tick range. Um, so ATR is more specific to that specific instrument you're trading, just like what's the average range, or the average true range of that specific time frame and specific product, right? And typically the market will move a full ATR, then have a pullback, as an example, right? But the VIX is a gauge of the whole market, you know, and typically the VIX rises when equities are dropping. but it affects all the markets, right? I wouldn't trade it or anything. I just use it as context. You know, when the VIX breaks out, you can have a little bit more volatility, and that doesn't mean you're just going to start making more money all the time. Of course not. It just depends on the setup, but it means that you can potentially get those 15 ticks simple moves. Hmm. Okay, did you have you updated through the latest release SP? And did you get it to work at all? Did you open up the bot and all that stuff and copy it in? And you need to make sure that your alerts are configured to the correct alert when you add it. You need to make sure you've got it all sent to Telegram and stuff like that. Oh, it's on a fresh update. Ooh. Have you tried? I actually would need to watch my my video to remember. To be honest, it's been a while since I've done it. So I think you had to reset Windows or something for it to pop up. Is it the open um the open the chart book or whatever it was called? Um, is that just completely crashing your Sierra or? Okay, let's see some action here. See, we noticed the bid was pulled, took it down. Not a huge amount of selling. Got a god awful price action. Mm. Yeah, but yeah, ping some stuff across, mate. You need to make sure that you've got your symbols and stuff. I can actually um, turn these on, so I have them configured. Let me just turn on my hotkeys for this. No, I'm not gonna bother because I'll get a fright actually. So you need to go into your. Did you do into this? You go into global settings, general settings, and then you need to go to alerts, and then you need to make sure that you're configuring all these correctly, and then you need to make sure that your send alert as chat message when it's triggered is set to yes, and then include all of these settings in here if I remember off the top of my head.
Big trade hit the bid.
And I had these set up for NQ. It let me know when there's size coming in.
NQ size hit the bid.
You know, just as an example, as it works it all out. But you need to make sure you've got all these settings here ticked, right? And then you also need to put your chat identifier or chat name for alerts in here, the specific number. Make sure you've got enable to Telegram turned on. Um, it's pretty much what you need to do. What's happened in treasuries? Absolutely nothing. It's like watching paint dry. Oh, and we missed it. So we've sold off a little bit. NQ's dropped. Are we going to at least get to the point of control? No. Back to the yellow line again. Honestly. It's on a fresh install separate to main install. That might be it, man. If you are you using like a second instance, try it from your main instance if you've got two running. Right, there's going to be some action coming in. It's going to be a while. It's going to be an hour now, to be honest, but nothing major. But yeah, let me know if you guys have got any other questions, any concerns. Are you in any trades at the minute? I want to see if we can slap down into this 33.5 POC. We are seeing a tick down though in the YM. It's getting to POC though, so we are seeing a slight tick down and everything. If NQ can go here, let's clear these. We want to see if NQ can drop down. We're starting to see the bid being pulled. If we can hit with some aggression, this could potentially go. There we go. NQ's just absorbed there on the offer a little bit. Let's see if we continue hitting the bids. Not. And then they're flashing here as well now. And they've pulled. Interesting. See how did you catch that? That was instantly pulled. Flashed for 3 seconds and then pulled. And they say that spoofing is not a thing anymore. Happens all day, every day. Just hard. It's just hard to. So this is interesting. Notice the lack of correlation here. Russell lows, Dow low, NQ bid. So normally when that happens, it just means some sizes come into one of the equities, right? And they're all going down. So this is a nice mismatch right now. If NQ can go, we should see this pop. But it's not going, honestly. Brutal price action. But yeah, not been the cleanest of days. I'm hoping you guys are not really trading this because you're certainly using up your mental capital for sure, right? And that's why you want to try and be in these painless trades, guys, because you don't use a lot of capital, mental capital that is. um, because you end up holding these trades for an hour, and just because your plan tells you to, hold for a random number of ticks. Do you see just a lack of volume right now? I know NQ is trading, but you need to see some size come in. It's just like the market's in slow motion. The video is not in slow motion, by the way. It's just the market is slow. I mean, how long do you ever see NQ literally in like a 10 tick range for a couple of minutes? It normally breaks one way. I mean, even NQ's doing it. Hope you guys are enjoying the content so far. I've been putting out and enjoying the streams and stuff. Hopefully you're finding it valuable. Let's see if we can go. If we should go here with some size, the market's not really moved. Let's see if they can hit it. Notice the Dow and the Russell is going. Here we go. Here we go now. Let's see if NQ can hold there. And we're just going right to the POC. So eventually got to the POC. You've just been holding it for ages. If you did anyway. Look at that absorption right off the POC. As expected. Honestly. And before you know it, you're 4 or 5 ticks back where you started. The exit is always the POC. I've looked at these charts long enough to tell you that. Otherwise, you're just guessing if that's going to break. You know. So all these little things you need to consider, all these little main inflection points in this chart, right? You need to take it into consideration. if you guys could let me know what kind of more content would you want? Do you prefer more tutorial based? Do you prefer order flow examples? Do you want me to cover some breakouts? What are you looking for? Right, this is really trying. Bid has been pulled, which doesn't really mean too much at the POC. Everything is ticking down. Certainly wouldn't be longing it at the moment, but then market can do anything at these points. So it'd be good if you guys can let me know. I think in the Discord what I'm going to do is I'm going to create like a content or a video roadmap, put a couple of options, and then we can do like a sort of voting system, as a, and then whichever people want to see the most, then we can do that. So it's almost you guys can kind of dictate the roadmap of the content, which I think is quite cool. If you think that's a good idea or not, let me know. But it's not. This is the thing as well with markets, guys. They should be boring. When you do this for long enough, it's relatively not a lot of action comes in. So you don't trade no man's land. You just simply wait for the market to show itself for some easy Benjis. But yeah, do any of you guys, uh, do you trade the YM or the Russell? You trade the Dow or the Russell? Not my favorite markets, to be honest with you. Reason being is, the same tick cost fluctuation or point cost, um, and it's not as volatile, to be honest, as NQ. But then ES is a sort of perfect gap between. I like that tunes. Nice, I like it. Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing with trading. You're absolutely spot on. The money, it's. I actually correlate trading to a lot like poker. I put a lot of poker in my time, both live and online. And poker and trading are very similar in the concepts. There's an optimal or game theory optimal strategy that you can use in poker. Same in trading, right? It's the exact same where if you had thousands of contracts to execute right now, say you were working for JP Morgan or working for a large firm, and you were one of the traders on the desk, and you had a block trade come in, and your job was to execute 5,000 contracts on the offer, right, and sell. If you come in and sell 5,000 contracts right now, you're going to absolutely dump the market. So whereabouts would you pick? 5,000 contracts is not a lot. Probably try 50,000 to be honest. But you get my drift. When you're actually trading that size, you can't just go in and buy and sell at any price. You need to start feathering in, start maneuvering the market a little bit to specific levels where you can start getting your fills. You know, you would do the same if you had that size and volume to shift and move, right? Because they don't have the luxury of just coming in and just pressing buy and getting a fill automatically. They can't do that because if they just press buy, then they move the market 10 points and then they absorb every single price. So just all these little things you need to take into consideration. Whereabouts would you do that, right? And it's all back to a sort of game theory that everyone's trying to catch each other out. You're not going to show your hand. So for example, these guys are flashing 50 lots up here. You don't know if they've got tons behind them. right? And you're probably going to have people that will front run them when they get here, and you don't know when price gets there, are they going to pull? But these have been there for a while, so they're unlikely to be pulled. The longer they sit in the chart, the more unlikely they are to be pulled, typically. So you trade ES, NQ, and oil. Nice. Nice. So we'll see what delta is happening as well for recent. We'll refresh that and we'll clear. We're still in this kind of range, to be honest, between POC and the absorption line that I'd drawn earlier on the stream. But you're really spot on, Tonya, with the patience side of things. Back to that. You know, you need to pay to play in trading, um, but you can wait for the most optimal setup. You don't need to pay to be involved. Granted, there's like platform fees and stuff, but we're not talking about that. But you get paid to, in spades to essentially wait for a really good setup, right? And that's it. And you don't use your mental capital when you have a really straightforward day. It's easy to have days like that. It's the days where you take a loser, win, you overtrade, you stress yourself out, you start nailing buttons, you know. It's another thing as well, if you guys are not doing it, make sure and set your hard stops in your trading platform, you know. So don't over leverage, set your hard stops. In Sierra, I can set how many contracts I want open. I also set my hard stops both with my broker and in our trader as well. And I do that just in case I do have a potato day, right, where I just, everyone has them, you know, and you do that just so that you're absolutely capping your downside. Because if you've got a tendency to start mashing buttons and, you know, doing silly things, use your platform, use all of that stuff so that you can't enter into that mode, so it locks you out. You can't trade anymore. You know. Good question, Adam. I use both. I use both. Hey, buddy. Nice to see you here. Thanks for stopping by. If you guys haven't yet pressed the like button for me, if you could, that would be fab. If you're not yet subscribed, please press it. It's much appreciated. But yeah, prop firms are a good side of things. You just need to take your time with them. The thing is about funded accounts and prop accounts and stuff. You just need to take your time, you know. And then eventually, once you start taking enough money off them, they'll try and make you to move live, you know. And I think it's then your decision where do you want to just take the money and just say nah, no thanks, thanks very much, um, and then just go round to other firms. But the trouble is, when you're going from firm to firm, you need to adapt your strategy in order to meet their rules that they set, you know. So, because prop firm trading is not really like the real market. There's no you make 2k, you lose 2k, for example, you're actually at break even, but then you're out. That's just not a thing. People start trading prop, they've actually got a winning strategy, and it just goes through a period of drawdown, and then they lose that account, and then they associate failing the prop firm with the fact that the strategy wasn't winning. But actually, there's maybe nothing wrong with the strategy over a decent sample size. It's just because prop firms are, it's a very specific strategy for firms in order to win. You can't really trend. You can't do any form of trend trading, in my opinion, just simply because you can't hold overnight, so you can't capitalize on the trends. Um, and specifically with the if you're trading ones that have trailing drawdown, you certainly can't take a trend trade strategy um, there because it just doesn't work. You know, so it's pretty much down to scalping and just overall maybe a day trade. You know, where you're not going to be holding overnight. Day trading has its merits, but the trouble is everyone's typically over leveraging. You know, so you just need to take all of that. I'm with both. I actually don't like Apex, to be honest. You know, it's just something. I'm with both, and something that just doesn't sit right with me. I've passed multiple accounts, had PAs and stuff, and traded all of, well, let's say all of them, the two main ones. And Apex has got the most hoop jumping setup. Apex pays the top streamers too much money, not because it's the best firm. You know, I mean, did you guys see the recent promotion he did with that 250k account? It's basically you can take this 250k account, but you basically need to go and eat 10 bananas, jump a circle through a circle, do it in 3 days, while making 60k or something. It's absolute ridiculous conditions. It's basically like saying, give me $20, and if you pass it, uh, it's just absolute ridiculous, man. Honestly. Best is FTMO. Yeah, I mean FTMO is good if you're trading CFDs and FX for sure. It's good, 100%. Completely different market to futures though. Um, Theory's footprint are mainly DOM. Uh, so I've used footprint in the past. To be honest with you, in my opinion, this is just me personally. I can see everything on the DOM that the footprint offers. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can see that. And then I've got the top left. I've got high Kanashi bars or candlesticks. Um, to just remove some of the noise. You know, and all these things are there. Bottom left, I see like right, are we in balance? Are we not? Where's the market spent the most time? Where's the most volume? How's the order flow coming in? Do you know what I mean? Just and is there any data points coming in? Just all sort of falls into place, right? And gives you an idea of what the context is for the day. But there's been no action here for about an hour. This has been the slowest slow grind down possible, to be honest with you. The one thing I would say that is good with the futures prop that's not with the FX and CFD ones is the futures ones having like a one stage pass is quite good. I think that's a nice feature. Um, you can't risk as much, of course, so it's not the same. You can control your risk a lot more with CFDs and FX than you can with futures to a degree. But the main attraction for anyone that's using futures products, in my opinion, is the centralized book. Like that should be it. It would make no sense to me to come to futures and not use the order book. To be honest, that's the advantage of a centralized book. Simply put, everyone sees everyone, regardless of country right now, sees the same stuff on the book right now. That's the thing. So it's all a level playing field to a degree. I use that word sparingly because it's not, but you know what I mean. it's giving you the best fighting chance, right? Where you've got your competition against the firms, they've got their own competition, and then the referee is meant to be the exchange, pretty much. In CFDs and FX, you've got the competition that moves the market, and then you're also trying to fight against your broker. They're trying to run your stops, or not run your stops, but increase the spread, make it less favourable. The spread widens. There's extra commission, there's swaps in for holding overnight. You know what I mean? The market's hard enough without all these extra conditions and stuff. But yeah, NQ is ripping at the moment, and it's ticking the market up. But yeah, we just noticed how we were right down. I think we had a tick below POC. Now we're back up the yellow line. Absolutely awful. But yeah, the book is extremely important. It's the main reason why you should be trading futures. It's the I know people say they trade futures for leverage and stuff, but that would never be a reason for me trading futures. The main advantage for me is the centralized exchange and the book, and that I can pay nowadays. It's a level as much of a level playing field as getting, where you can spend a couple $100 a month and get access to the best charting platforms. Many years ago it was TT, the technology company, where I think it's Trading Technologies, the TT. It would be thousands of pounds a month, and it would only be the top firms that would be able to pay that to get access to these products. But now you've got this from Sierra, and it's like $60 a month for full data. You then pay 40 quid a month for level two. You need to make sure and open a brokerage account to get the cheap data. But it's not expensive, man. You're about $100 a month. So take advantage of it. Definitely take advantage. So we'll see if we can do anything. We know there's going to be volume coming in exactly 58 minutes. It always does. Watch Think with Bookmap. Yeah, I mean, I won't get started on Bookmap as a product, to be honest with you. I, uh, what would I say about it? The volume dots are not accurate. So if you go on to Think with Bookmap or watch Bookmap in general, and watch NQ and watch my DOM at the same time, it will call an iceberg when they've like traded 10 contracts and stuff. You know what I mean? It's not really accurate. And then they have this like big bubbles and stuff that show you large size coming in, and it's like 30. It's like 30 contracts have traded. I've watched it before. Either the dude that's doing that on that platform has just not got his threshold set enough, like he's got them set so thin, so there's always constant ticking and stuff there to keep the stream alive. That can maybe be it. But you need to set your thresholds much higher to like at least 500 iceberg or something on. Yeah, I would say at least a 500 iceberg on ES, and then maybe 100 on NQ or something. You know, like icebergs I can get behind. The part that is a best guess is the stops, and I can tell you when stops are triggered on looking at the DOM. So there is that, and then I think the Bootmap product I think is extremely overpriced for what it is. You know, I think it's a little bit of a fad, honestly. And that's me. I was going to get Bootmap at one point, and I spent some time on that chap's YouTube. He offers a good solution, allows you to sort of check it out and try it out for free. But when I've had my DOMs up and listened to it with the sell stops and buy stops and all that stuff, and it's for me it's not really that advantageous, to be honest, using it. Just my opinion. It looks short to me. I mean, uh, until we break and hold below the POC and clear these levels, I've got absolutely no idea the way this market's going. I've got as much chance as flipping a coin to know where the market's going right now. We're just completely in balance. We're literally just at the POC and we're in value for the day. I've got no idea the way the market's going. And see, to be honest with you, anyone that does is lying. You've got absolutely no idea with confidence. Can you say what way this market's going? Let's be serious. Do you know what I mean? It's just we don't have the size to move it. You're gonna need to see some aggressive selling come in here. These bids be pulled, and then NQ will need to go at the same time. The only thing that's in the favour right now is Russell and the Dow are below the POC and they're slightly ticking down. But you're going to need ES to hold below the POC. You're going to need NQ for some size to come in, and you're also going to need to rely on the bid being weak. And right now, considering we're plus 500 delta in a day, whereas we're pretty flat, the buyers, have been quite happy to sort of sit around. Anything can happen, and that's just my opinion. I'm just being straight with you, right? I'm not here to sugarcoat it. But Bookmap, I would say, um, in my opinion, I think you're better looking at the DOM than you are with Bookmap. Um, I don't think the volume dots are that accurate. If you have my stream up and compare them at the same time and look at the volume traded on the DOM, um, which I've done in the past many times, it's just not that accurate. It'll show big bubbles when there's not actually been that much traded, to be honest. So just something to bear in mind is all. But it's a free world. If you want to get Bookmap and you want to use it and it provides you an edge, then happy days, man. Happy days. I just think it's pretty expensive for it is. And here, if I could spend a couple $100 a month and add value to my trading, I would. I just wish Sierra would maybe bring out an iceberg indicator as such that would like, you know, if I'm not at the chart, it would maybe say like 1,000 contracts was absorbed here and it give me an idea for the iceberg indicator. But then, and there's another thing too is Rhythmic. It's mainly through Rhythmic data for Bookmap, and in my opinion, Rhythmic's data is not that great. It's not that reliable, to be honest with you. There's been a lot more outages considering I've been using Denali data feed now for years, and it's sorry, my mic just died there. I've been using Denali data feed for that long. I mean, like it's gonna be hard to change my mind because I've literally not had an outage. I can't think of any products, that I've traded, or even anything I've bought technology wise in my life that's never not broke. It just doesn't really happen. So yeah, watch it for free, but pay $1 a month to get MCL Bookmap. Oh, nice. Wait, do you pay on the stream? How does that work? Is that something that he charges for it or something? Or is that through Bookmap you do that? Also, another thing I would say as well is on your platform, if you can look at the mini chart and trade micros, do that because looking at the order flow that's coming into the micros is not really going to be that beneficial, honestly. And I know if you're Sierra, you can very simply change it, right? You can execute micros off the mini chart, for example. Ah, right, that's quite a good idea. He's commercialized that quite well. Good job for him, man. That's a good idea, and it's a good service for $1 a month, right? Jeez, oh. So the offer is being really pulled. If we can break here and then Q goes up, we're going to go back and sweep. But considering we have been round here, it can do anything, to be honest. Yeah, UCL I trade. Okay, nice, nice. Well, it's good that you've got that for that value. That's good. It depends when you're trading, but for markets I'm not really trading, I should probably do a certain stream where you guys can pick the DOMs. So say we do it in a specific time, we should probably do it where you guys get to pick the DOMs for you want. We can not just look at equities. So here we go, there's the rip. Let's see if they can crack this level. We're seeing a little bit of absorption on the offer. We need some size to come in and hold. But let me know if you guys think that's a good idea. So you can, if we do it in maybe like pre-market or something, you guys can pick the DOMs and we can watch different markets and look at the order flow rather than just straight up having ES and everything along those lines, right? Right, let's see. So let's pay attention now that we're at the sweeping level. Okay, so we're going to refresh. We've seen 1,000 contracts absorbed in the offer at these two prices. Okay, we want to see the sweep first before you'd ever consider doing anything. But as I said, considering this has hit this now, one, two, three, this is the fourth time, you know, you need to be a little bit wary if you were to be shorting. And as I said, I would only be looking once we get a sweep from here to consider it. It would be the nice sort of setup. But we did see 1,000 contracts absorbed here in the offer. Yeah, we can do oil and gold, no problem. I actually just to have oil and gold up. Um, I just to have what did I have? ESNQ oil and gold was the four DOMs that I had when I just to do it DOMs only. But you need charts to explain to people because people just look at DOMs. It's hard to just look at DOMs only. I think it's nice to have the other charts up. So interestingly enough, Russell is not really moved. It's the POC. The Dow is out of value now, so it has broke up. But let's see what's going to happen. Let's see if they hit this aggressively. It needs to break this level first, to be honest with you. Okay, do you notice that continual drilling there? Let's see if they're going to break it. They should break it with size. There's the sweep and stops we just hit. Okay, so now let's see if this is to drop, it should go pretty quickly. But then seeing them engineering on the bid, they're flashing here. So you're not done. You're not done exactly yet. So we're now going to look at all the buying. There's no selling coming in right now. The delta is pretty bid. Some size coming in, and NQ is not stopping either. So the bid is still happy to absorb at higher prices. Not a great sign. You need this to be taken out first. So now you're still not interested in this right now, especially after the fourth time. To be honest, I think taking the fourth sweep is, you're kind of asking for trouble. To be honest with you. So we're still seeing, look, 600 absorbed in the bid at the highs. Not a great sign. Markets then ticked up. Instantly more stops have been hit there. NQs tick down. So we're going to recenter here. Now the next obvious stop point for here is going to be the previous day high, right? But the market loves to hit these levels with some size and then pull back and regain. Just how we've hit this level so many times today, right? And NQ is going to be the one that's going to dictate the pullback. And we'll put another line here because ultimately, if this was me, and I was in this position, your target, first point for you to have a look is going to be here. Now that this guy's flashing 100 lot, here we'll see if this is pulled. But notice we have seen all this absorption up here. Oh. And then Q is the one that's dropping. Watch how this 100 lot reacts. We'll clear this. Keep the delta the same. So that's it pulled. See that it was pulled as 100 there, only 86 traded. And then the market's then ticked right back up. You know, that's the type, if you have to have a clean sweep, it just continues dropping. But it didn't there. You saw the market tick down twice, then he started reloading on the bid here. So now, if the market cracks these highs again, for example, you're out. You know, if you're in this short, the market should not be breaking these highs, because then it's no longer a sweep. You're then going to continue up, and the next target for these buyers is going to be up here. But I was saying, you're kind of pushing your luck, man, when it's this hit this level once, twice, three times, one last sweep at it, and then again, right? So let's see continually what's going on. So not a huge lot of buying up there. You need to see delta tapering off and some selling coming in. If some size can come in right now and they can break through this sort of level, then you're good to go. You're going to need to see NQ ticking down. At the moment, it's just hovering at the highs. So we've seen NQ absorb 161 here, and NQ tends to absorb over like a point rather than ES. Kind of feels weird listening to this without any audio volume for the OrderFlow connecting, because I always have that on. You really need to pay attention right now. Okay, so notice the size been traded here, right? There's 800 traded. Okay, that should be ticking down and that to be pulled, but someone's then refreshed this again. So then they're still absorbing here on the bid. Right, you need this to be ticking down, you want this to be pulled. We're just seeing this absorption at the highs both ways at the minute. So you want to see NQ to tick down, aggressive hitting of the bid. Let's clear NQ. See NQ there is just instantly absorbed those 20 lots selling, right? So wild asset. See if it can continue. There we go. There's some size now ticking down. And then straight back up, honestly. But looking like we're going to go back into the range at the minute. But buyers are really starting to engineer. They're flashing 150 here, 50 here, 100 here. You know, NQ is going to always be the catalyst as it is. So if orders can be pulled in NQ, you'll potentially go price down to here and see how it reacts. But this is always the part we need to start paying attention. With the market sweeping highs like this is your opportunity, right? And you need to then gauge, depending on the flow that's coming in, are you going to take the sweep back in, for example? This is not clear cut yet at all. And I always gauge on the fact that, look, if you caught this one, great. If you caught this one, great. Taking it at this time of the day again and expecting the same result, I think if you've not made your money by now in the day, you're kind of asking a bit for trouble, to be honest. But you guys get any question of that, of what you're seeing at the moment? So we're just seeing this absorption, which honestly is never good. You never ever want to be seeing a market absorbing at higher prices. So we've seen sellers hitting 1,300 contracts into this price, and buyers are still happy to absorb. They're continually refreshing. All it takes right now is more size to go into NQ, okay, and this to be taken out, and then we're breaking these highs. If they can crack these orders, because if it breaks whatever which way here, right, we're going to see the market go one way once this is traded out. There's been thousands of contracts traded in these three prices. And notice how sensitive ES is to NQ with these movements. Anytime it drops down 3 ticks, we'll see a tick down in ES. Anytime it goes up and breaks this little mini range, we'll see an uptick on ES. Right, it's super sensitive. And then in order for this to be a breakout, you need all these to pump, same as for the sell-off to be painless, right? Otherwise you're sitting in this slow death grind on the way down, you know? So NQ is trying, just need to crack here, you know, and sustain below here, to be honest. None of this ticking down for 3 ticks and then back up, but it's not. So if you're in short right now, your radar needs to be, could be going, you're like, right, okay, if you're in short here, you should be taking no more than a couple of ticks on the high if you're short. And the reason being is if the market sweeps the high again, then the trade is no longer valid. You know, you don't just continue holding it, right? So this should be going now. NQ's dropping. There we go. Bid pulled. You need this. There's some aggressive hitting into the bid. If this can pull, see this absorbing happening at 39 and a quarter. You need that to crack. If they can crack this, this will tick down. So he's still going. They're happy to absorb on this price. That needs to go. Continually refreshing. But see, that's good though. Good for your sell if you're in. Still absorbing on the offer right now. If they can crack this level, this thing is off. It's like a wall right now. This one firm is absorbing 400 right now. There's a nice little battle going on ES between 39.5 and 39 and a quarter. Okay, there we go. We just cleaned through it. They can smash through this. This will tick right down. NQ's going. See that's the trouble, right? You're just not seeing this being clean. You know, then it's back up to this price and he's absorbing more. Whoever this is, they are really, really happy to absorb. They've just absorbed like, you know, 800 contracts right at this price, and then we're now ticking up. And now you need to be thinking if you're in short, right? Sorry guys, if you're in short, you need to be thinking, right, if the market gets back up to these levels, you should be out because the market should be going right now. Okay, so let's see what the deltas just changed. See what the last minutes gave us. Okay, again we had this absorption at this price. It needs to break here. But now if you're short, you need to start being cautious right now because the market should have dumped there. Someone was still happy to absorb, and then when the market comes back down there, they need to be gone and the orders need to be pulled. And typically this firm that's doing that, who's willing to absorb at those prices, you probably see them start working the offer if price gets up here. Balanced above yesterday's value area low with positive delta indicates a yesterday test of yesterday's value high to me. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, see, this is the thing, right? They're still absorbing. You need to crack this level right now where the dude was happily absorbing this firm, right? They literally held the market up. NQ is really trying to go. It may actually bring it down. Everything else is going. ES is holding up. Whoever's absorbing in this, if they can go and they start pulling and there's some aggression onto the bids, this should clear. We should see a little bit of a sweep down here if you're short. You know, it's the same firm here, still absorbing. Honestly, this would drive me bananas if I was in this trade. This, you know, the market should be going right now. These two prices have absorbed like 1,500 contracts, I reckon, between them. Yeah, no, exactly, exactly. But your trades here, to be honest, like this is not what you want to be seeing. Because the thing is, the fact that the delta's gone bid and we're still you know absorbing on the bids. The fact that delta's been a little bit aggressive, it's not fantastic. But yeah, NQ is having some downturn in it at the moment, some correction. Whoever this firm is, if they can sellers can crack here with some size, then this should go down, right? But until this business is traded out here between these sort of four prices, between like 39 three quarters, 39 evens to like 40 evens, you know, the market should be sweeping through here when it hits. There we go. So if NQ goes down more, this should be sweeping. It should be aggressive. There we go. This is the type of action you should see these bids have been pulled. This should be hitting aggressively in, and then the market should be going down quite aggressively. That's the type of flow that you're wanting, you know. But you need to be super cautious because if the market's not doing what you're doing, you need to start having your hand on the flatten button. And this is again the problem with this, right? You're just it's continual patterns all day that you're just not getting this follow through. You know, the market was saying it's just dropped, it's just went four ticks. You know, and then we're absorbing again and then back up. Whereabouts he shot from? Yeah, Alex, nice for you to join, buddy. See you had a good day, nicely done in your on your trading day, my friend. That's what I like to see. So the thing is, not even a lot of negative deltas come in here. So essentially the bid has been pulled, which is also slightly concerning. Certainly not been clean anyway. If you're just watching the stream at the moment and you've not liked it, if you could please do so, I'd appreciate that. While you're pressing the like button, if you could press the subscribe, takes you 2 seconds. Doesn't mean a lot to you, but it means a lot to me. So I'd appreciate it if you could do that, guys. That would be fabulous. I've been looking for shorts end of week potentially, but overall trend is strong bullish. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I only, especially when this has hit this 4 times, you're kind of pushing your luck a little bit, but you've still got 8 to 10 ticks of margin there. It's just a little bit painful to hold. That's the trouble. Like you're not just seeing a sweep and then it's really clean. You know, you're and also to be honest, in 30 minutes time, this could go to the moon up here. It could actually finish the day down here. There's that much volume that comes in the next 30 minutes that it could completely change the state of play. Completely. Oh, nicely done, Carlos. 3 ticks is better than better than a poke in the eye with a big stick. Exactly. End the month done Peru. Yeah, exactly. Nicely done though, Alex, with your you know keep the losses down. Make sure you've got your hard stops set in your platforms. By the way, make sure you've done that in our trader. To do that, you can set your risk parameters for each account that you've got. Make sure and do that, please, so that you don't have absolutely blowout days. If you have a bad day, it's capped. Make it roughly what your average green day is. I'd really, really advise you to set that, mate, because we all have bad days, and you don't want to let the bad day set you back a week. So you wonder what kind of move Nvidia earnings will give us. If I remember correctly, last time it was something like 50 points up in ES. Yeah. See now exactly like that. There was no real negative delta in. Now that's us. Next target previous day high up here now. And NQ is just going. So do you notice though that any way the price goes at the moment in ES with the low VIX, it just doesn't do anything. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not seeing just a drilling through. It's just this slow crawl, and then you've got these orders to get through here. There's just not a lot of volume. That's the trouble. There's 600 absorbed. The market should be ticking up. Let's see if they can take out another price. For this to be being bid, it's good. You're seeing 230 absorbed. You want to see the them getting aggressive in, and now the bid's been pulled for the price to get down there. That's not any selling. The bid has just been aggressively pulled down to here. And that's the thing you need to remember, guys. Right? The market can move in two ways. It can move with aggressive participants one way or the other, or they can just pull orders, and the market doesn't need to move with a lot of aggression if there's no size there to hold it up, right? So a 910 absorbed here on the offer, and you've got these some orders up here. I mean, how many ticks away are we from here? 23 ticks. Wow. I just don't see us coming back here now, to be honest. We've traded this out the whole day, and this is the fourth hit. One, two, three, fourth hit. Don't see us. I see us going up to the previous day high and my previous rectangles, and then us having a sweep from up here. That's probably going to be next, and it's also going to probably chime into the fact that we're at 27 minutes. Is my math right there? Yeah, 27 minutes till the next big sweep of volume comes in, and we could punch into this level and then sell off, and we could go back down and retest here. But it would be interesting if you just sweep this right back in. I think that's now the most unlikely play. I think now that we've broke here with some size, and the fact the NQ is also doing so, Russell's not following suit, but the YM is pretty much near the highs, the Dow. So, see, this is where if the market broke those by 2 ticks, like I said earlier, if you still weren't out, to be honest, and this is where the market gave you this all the way down here, and it's ticked back up. If the market was to go back down and reclaim, point of control, it would have already done so. the more it comes back up and hits these levels, the higher probability it is it's going to break. You know. Nice, well done on setting your hard losses in there, buddy. Good job. Increase your baby. She's been good to me. Nice one. So interesting. Watch this level. We're getting up to the initial balance high extension, and then we've got previous day. Let's watch these levels, the key inflection points, right? Where exactly is that on the DOM? 48. So here, roughly about this level. Let's see what the market does if it sweeps. Just aggressively push in. Here we go. Let's see how it reacts at 48 to 50. So we'll copy this. This is exactly at the pre-market high, not pre-market, sorry, previous day high. Sorry, copy and move drawing, copy and move drawing. Okay, here and here. So you notice how the market goes up into these. It's just not hit it by just slightly enough, which is I hate it when that happens. I much prefer when the market aggressively hits a couple of ticks above, then I can get in, because this first hit, when the market does this, it will always give you like 8 ticks of retracement. Not always, that's not the right term. It will more than likely give you a good sweep off it, especially when it aggressively does this. You know, and the market when it's done this, this is the fourth time, it will always aggressively take the stops more. Just an observation. And that's all the market's doing is it's moving to the next inflection point, the next part where there's going to be orders and where the next stops are, and then it'll balance and control it. That's all it does all day. You need to wait until a range is set and stuff, man. But do you see the difference, like when the market's got some volume and volatility coming in and how clean that is? If that gave you another couple of ticks, it would have been sweet if it literally went to 48.25 for example, right? And then look, we've just continuously then we'll clear this. But look how clean it is. The market's just going down. There's no real pulling back. It's just been pretty clean for 10 ticks. That's the type of order flow you'd be wanting. That's the time that you could be getting involved. Do you know what I mean? Rather than this nonsense down here where in hindsight it looks like it's gone down, but it's this slow, painful grind. Do you know what I mean? I know. Tell me about it. And I think to take breakouts when the VIX is this low, you need to sorry, you need to see, the market hitting a level multiple times because the first time will normally result in a sweep, right? It's normally what's going to be the case. Caught the move but didn't pay for my losses on the chop earlier. And what have I been saying, Postman? You need to make sure that you're not getting chopped up like a beast, It's a nightmare when that happens. So you just need to make sure and keep your losses really tight, or just don't trade in no man's land, to be honest. I can actually probably say over experience, man, say if you took this fade and you took like a 6 tick loss here, you probably lose less doing that than you would start trading in this chop, because it looks okay that it went down, but you saw the action. It was down 3, up 3, down 2, up 4, you know painful. This is the type of action you want where it's directional. Not saying you're taking the breakout, but this where you're catching a fade instantly up into the previous day high. Not the perfect setup because I'm clean and I prefer sweep. But if I draw it, look, this is exactly where we saw a sweep before, and I keep these levels on the chart so that I just can note them, and they tend to be reused. And this is why is simply just how I trade. Is I typically look to take sweeps of key levels where large firms are looking to get involved and where people are going to be stuck and where they'll have to get out of positions. That's what That's where I tend to be like, nice, this is good, you know. In this trade, if I got in short, I would have been out already. Like, I'm not sitting through this, man. If it goes back up and gives it another sweep, I would just get in again, you know. But second time, I'm always a little bit more cautious. It just didn't set up. I would have liked another two more, literally two more ticks or something to sweep is my, you know, great entry. Capiche? You build it around lunchtime, boring session, captured a couple $100, but this was the move we were waiting for. Yeah, exactly. Man, a couple hundred bucks a day is not to be sniffed at when you're copy trading, buddy. That's all you need. No problem. Glad you appreciate it, buddy, and you provide your value, and hopefully you're going to do really well and smash it, man. If I can provide you value, then happy days. My objective here is to try and shorten everyone's learning curve. You know, because I've been doing this for a long time, and it's a painful job, put it that way. But if you can do it properly and relieve all the stress and not use your mental capital in trading, it puts you in a fantastic position. You know, and you just need to be aware of what the market's doing. I can't tell you enough how the um the reason you're not profitable video, the recent one that was released, how important understanding those concepts in that video are. It literally changed my trading many years ago when I understood that these firms are working both sides at the same time. Truly changed how I viewed the market. You know, and people don't realize that that's what they're doing. You know, because everyone thinks that they're just trying to buy and so on, but that's not what they're doing. They're working multiple products. They've got multiple books. They've got multiple reasons. You know, and they've got the money to move the market. And the DOM and OrderFlow provides you, criteria and a glimpse into what these guys are doing at that time. And also, if the market doesn't do what you're expecting at the time, you can just get out. You keep your stops tight in this, and if you're wrong, you're wrong. You're always going to come back tomorrow. Um, and it means that you're not using your full clip on a trade. You know, get away from this rudimental 1 to 1 R or 1 to 2 R or whatever, just because it's fixed. If the trade's not working, cut it. Just don't take a full stop if you don't need to. If you know the order flow's against you and you're in a rubbish trade, don't start turning into hope. Because as soon as you start thinking, oh, I'm balls deep into this position, this is not great, I won't do it again. As soon as you start thinking with that mindset, you're gone. Just shut off your screen. Honestly, anytime I've ever did that in my life in trading for this long, it never results well. It never ends well. Got so tired of watching Dom through the chop that I got back to old habits and gamble candlesticks. Honestly, this is where I think it may be beneficial for you guys to come in and watch the stream. And another thing as well, if you've had a good day, right, especially if you're using Sierra, if you've had a good day and you've locked in profits, switch to sim mode, right? So if you want to start clicking buttons, you're in sim mode and you can't give away your profits. If you've at one point said, I'm happy with that, I'm good, switch to sim mode. You then can't, who cares if you lose out in trades? I'm watching the market right now. I missed out on a trade. I honestly don't care. Like, I'm here to chat with you guys, and it teaches you discipline to be able to watch the market and not just jump in. Do you know what I mean? You need to wait till things are favourable. And if you want to trade and just, I don't know, press buttons because you want the action, put it to sim. You don't need to always be trading. You need a couple of trades a day. Sometimes I take loads of trades. I do what you did, Postman, and ultimately get chopped up as well. Of course I do that, you know. But when I have days like today, I take a couple of sweeps, and then I'm done, you know. So keep it easy on yourself. You don't need to be. And here's the thing, right? Order flow, in my opinion, is pretty draining. You know, when you're really focused on the DOM, you're focused on what's happening, you're checking the order flow, you're refreshing, you're watching the correlations. You can't do that all day. You know what I mean? It's tiring. You need to be on the ball. So if you do that for a couple hours a day and you make your money, and that's it. If you have a bad day, then great. Or if you want to trade and you want to practice and you want to have some skin in the game, I can tell you what, go to treasuries. Go to treasuries after you made your money on equities or whatever, because you're never going to lose a lot in treasuries. I probably say this once a stream. And the reason why I'm saying that is because people that are struggling, if you cut your teeth in treasuries, you're not going to win a lot and you're not going to lose a lot, but it teaches you the game. Is the main way to do it. Let's see. This has been a glorious sweep. Honestly, I would have been pretty annoyed that this is the case. But see, if the market breaks here, you've got probably 6, 7 ticks of risk up here. You know, it's a nice trade. Doesn't always sweep the highs and always give it to you, but especially after the market's hit this level. This is this is just classic what the market does. It aggressively hits price. We see the blip, and then the firms that were working on the bid to drive price up, they just flip it and work the offer. You know, and then they've made it on both ways. Do you know what I mean? Happy days for them. And then there's flow going to come in the next 3 minutes. We'll clear the DOMs, but this price action, this is more like it. When it does that. Trader took today was A plus around lunch. Wait patient for NQ to speak back to testing IB initial balance high and bought in after wick. Well done, buddy. Good patience. I like it. Okay, so we're doing this sort of retest at this level now. It is M period, so M period is always wild. If you guys look at M period on market profile, it's always a wild 30-minute period for some reason. It's always when it tends to move stuff. If you guys have not yet subscribed or liked the stream, make sure and hit the like button for me. I'd appreciate that, guys. If you've not yet done so, it helps out the stream a lot. Okay, so we're now seeing a little bit more absorption here. This is going to be super interesting when so a little flush comes in the next 2 minutes, right? But some people say, oh, all the volume goes in at 10:02. It doesn't. All the volume goes in between 9 and 9:05. I say that I'm in GMT. 4 to 4:05 is when the volume comes in. So we'll see. We'll clear. We've already just cleared them, but let's change this. Clean up the delta, and let's see. The market could reverse all of this. This is another thing. If you're holding this and your short's going well, and you're up 15 ticks, cut it. Take it. Happy days if you're in the trade. Because seriously, in the next 15 minutes, this could be anywhere. This could honestly, it could be up here. It could be down here. You know, you just need to be aware of that. So, but NQ is hitting the floor, to be honest. So let me know if you guys have got any questions, and we'll see. I'll try and clear the DOM so you guys can see the exact volume. It's going to come in. So we're seeing some large traders right here, right now. They are trying to absorb at this sort of breakout area. We're kind of retesting the breakout area now. It's obviously the first place where buyers are going to start absorbing and get involved. But let's see. Hit the floor algo time. Yeah, exactly. This is the craziness. So let's clear and see what happens in the next minutes. There's always some decent size that starts to come in now. Peace, Alex. Thank you very much. Peace, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Okay, so not really a tick here in movement right now. Let's see if they can break this level and we may start to reclaim the value area. But key point, if the market can break here, then we'll go down and potentially end at POC after this nice juicy run. Or are we going to go back up and end the day in a spike? Everyone put your answers on a postcard. See if they can crack here, but they're struggling. Do you look at the amount of contracts that have just been traded at these four prices, honestly? If you guys have not seen the volume that comes in the next 10 minutes, specifically between 9 and probably 9:05, it's crazy. People say that it's now that happens, but honestly, it's typically in the next 10 is when the market starts to move. Here we go. Let's see if they can crack it. This guy needs to stop absorbing. We should see a little mini flush if they can crack this level, but they've instantly just lifted into the offer. And NQ's bidding. So they are holding this retest level at the moment, which is super bullish, to be honest. Looking like we're going to end in the spike potentially. Last chance saloon. 10 minutes for the market to decide if it's going to reclaim value or not, but as it looks right now, we're potentially going to end in a spike. Be super surprised if we go up and sweep and then end. I mean, I suppose that could happen, but I think we're maybe just going to fill out this area that was accepted, you know. And then Q's going bid as well, so we should be seeing an uptick. There we go. They're also flashing there. Some stops covered. Sometimes I look at that to be honest with you, but nothing major. The market on close data and stuff. I mean, sometimes, but nothing really. It's just depending on what the flow is like and what's happening right now in the DOM. Because I feel that a lot of that is already priced in. You know, Another thing, do you guys ever look at open interest? It's quite a cool thing to see if trends are continuing. Because open interest, the only people that are holding those positions long term, or at least overnight, are large firms, right? Because all of retail, for example, is just day trading. So, looks like we're ending in a spike at the moment, but as I said, in the next 6 minutes we'll clear the DOM, right? And you guys can see the volume is obscene. It's like algo 2 minutes. It goes crazy and it's like clockwork every day. Well, every market open day. Okay, so are we going to sweep here aggressively and end in a spike? Let's see. We're going to clear the DOM. Look at the amount of buying there. So much buying at that price. 2,000 contracts executed with Delta there. 1,964 aggressive there. So there was no selling. Crazy. We'll refresh and see what they're going to do here. With all this volume coming in, NQ's trying. Everything is ticking up right now. So I think if you're still in a trade, it's time to be closing. This was your trade, right? And if it's not cracking that level, it should have went. But here we go. 4 minutes till mayhem, where this could sweep this level and end back. Because also we've got this level up here is the previous day high, and we're at this key level. So it's a pretty important level up here, honestly. And there'll be tons of stops up here as well. And we are dropping. Let's see what they do. It'll be interesting. Are you guys got any open positions at the moment, or are you just watching? 4 minutes to count down to see what the market's going to decide. If I could do the poll thing, I probably would, to see are we going to end above the high or are we going to go lower. If I could do the poll, if you think it's going to go lower, type an L. If you think it's going to go higher, type a H, just so I can get a rough idea from you guys that are watching what you think it's going to do. Do you think we're going to go down and sweep here, and end back in sort of value to reclaim, or do you think we're going to end in a huge spike? Sorry, Tonya, do you mean if I clear the DOM, the pending orders and the bid and offer, I can't change them. They're what's live in the market. The middle columns, the red is what's executed. It's selling into the bids. So hitting into the bid is another term for selling. And in the blue column is what has been bought at the ask or offer, and it's known as buying. When I press my hotkeys, I clear these so I can tell what's recent at the price. Okay. And then the left column here is the MBO data for size at each level and one order type. So nothing above here is greater than 50. So someone's just laid out 50 there. There's another 50 here. Someone's just flashed 50 here. Someone's put 54 here. There's a lot of volume going on here, guys. Tons. So we've just seen someone absorb 1K, 1500 contracts here. So they've traded out, the guts of nearly 10K contracts in these prices. So we'll see if they're going to take this. This will be interesting. So look at the amount of volume it's trading here. It's like algo heaven right now. And these next 2 minutes, there we go. Some rule size, let's clear, there we go. There's so much buying absorbed actually now. I see 1,000 contracts absorbed in the offer here. Higher first, then 400 goes lower. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Here we go. Let's see how long left. I'm going to refresh the DOM for you guys and just directly so you can see all the orders that come in because it's going to be massive for this next minute, right? Watch the flow. You know, just this is the volume that you know, this is it. Look at the amount of orders that are coming in. Thousands here. It's just so much size. Jesus. 3,000 contracts here. Wow, that's madness. Seems to be relatively in an equilibrium of price, right? And if this does go, there's going to be tons of stops triggered if they can break these levels aggressively, right? We're going to see a big sweep in price if they can hold and break these levels down here with all the positive delta that's come up. If they can aggressively, because you need to close out their positions, right? Watch a huge sweep in price if they can aggressively hit these levels. Let's see. NQ's going. Need this to go if it's got a chance to even at all reclaim. Someone's holding here. They need to crack this 43 evens level. And they're refreshing here. Let's tick back up. Oh, the anticipation. Come on. He needs to break that literally 43 evens. NQ, if NQ dumps here, we'll crack this. We may stand a chance for this to go back in down here. No. Doesn't look like it, honestly. Nope. Still in this main price up here. Meh. Think it's gonna go higher. Last one, Simone. Higher first and 400 lower. No order at the bottom of ES at the 35 level. What happens to that order? Okay, so 35 level in ES. I was wondering. I think if you draw some examples you were saying, Tonya, and then mark them up and ping them to me, it may be easier because there's a million things I'm looking at the moment. So if you've got anything specific, like screenshot it and draw a circle around it or something. So let's see if they can crack it. It doesn't really look like it. Looks like we're just accepting this range. We've got three to probably 5 more minutes of action of this, and then you'll notice the volume just dries down. It's actually dried down a little bit now, to be honest, but you've normally got 3 more minutes of this. So this is back to this level. If we can crack this 43 with some size, you know, we maybe get back down to the retest level, and then you're going to have all these people that bought up here are going to need to liquidate soon enough. When is the stopping point for them? You know, probably if it needs to break this level for them. But then everyone that bought up here is now underwater, right? So where is their threshold to get them out? And you better believe that they're probably going to test everyone that's long up here's patience, because look at all the positive delta that took us here, you know. And granted, we bid on the day, but not massively, right? And these guys are going to be in pain if they continually hit into the bid with some size. So this 43 needs to crack. This has been held massively. We need some size into there. NQ needs to go. Look at all the absorption on the bid on NQ as well. If this can go, then we should maybe see a little sort of cascade with all the longs that were up here are potentially going to need to close. So we want to see a sweep through this price to test that theory, right? And we'll zoom in a little here so you can see it. But it's just not happening. That 43 is holding like a rock. It's crazy when you see that, how one firm, you know, it's executing can hold the market like that. Then we're back at this price. You know, again, if they can crack this. This is the key level. You want to see this break with some size, none of this 2 tick down stuff. You want to see it crack through, but NQ's ticked up a little bit and needs to get back down to here, to the lows. Hmm. As a good talking point, I want to see this break this 43s. See if we can get a sweep. It's going to be boring if it just consolidates in here, right? But NQ, we're going to need to see NQ touch the lows. I mean, we are seeing Dow. The Dow is ticking down. So is Russell. Russell needs to clean out these levels that are on the DOM. The 20s at the and the 25s. Okay, there we go. It's 43 clear. Is it? We need some size continuing through this level, and the guy's back absorbing here. Honestly, it's crazy how one firm can hold the market. Honestly, not you don't know it's one firm, but the chances are take your opposite. Alright, here we go. If we can hit this with some size, no. Honestly, it's crazy how like one firm collectively who's just sat there and absorbed this whole price, you know. But 1,500 contracts, as we know, to these firms that's trading like 400 billion a day, is literally chump change. They can decide if they want a whole price. So right now, there's pretty much a big juicy iceberg here right now, because it's just been aggregating and absorbing. They're continuing to refresh. There's another 200 added. We've seen 453 absorbed in offers. Just whatever way this goes here is going to go. But I would love to see if this can just crack. But we're running out of time, to be honest with you. Like, if it doesn't happen in the next couple of minutes, I think we're just going to bounce. Most likely. You know? Yeah, we'll give it probably 4 more minutes, ladies and gents. And then we'll potentially call it. But how do you guys think of this? Let me know some ideas in the Discord for the stream. If you want to let me know if you guys want to pick the DOMs for specific sessions, you can watch some different order flow. Feel free and feel free to let me know what you would want to see. I'm assuming everyone in here has subscribed, but if you've not, I'd appreciate if you could do so. There's also a link as well if you want to support the channel a little bit extra. That's greatly appreciated as well. Not obligated to do so, but it's feel free if you would like to. And you can ask any questions in the Discord. I think everyone in here is part of the Discord, right? But if you're not, feel free to join. We help you with all the chart books. We've got a lot of veteran order flow traders in the chat as well. Some dudes I've traded with for a while is there too. So we're trying to build a nice community here and help everyone out. And nothing is commercialized at all as yet. We don't charge anything. We're not into that. We don't do any courses. I don't really believe in courses, to be honest with you, because I can give every one of you my strategy, and some people can execute it, some can't. You need to put your own time and your own pain in there, and it's all about learning the fundamentals, the concepts, and how the market ebbs and flows, and teaching you what to look for. You need to build your own stuff, you know. So I hope you guys found this stream valuable and you enjoyed it as well. Let me know what content and videos you'd like to see. If there's anything specifically you think it would collectively provide everyone value. Some things that we've been covering. So it'd be great if you guys can let me know what you're thinking. That would be fantastic. No problem, postman. Thanks, Vic. Much appreciated. Yeah, so I typically stream every day. I typically do the PM session, so what time would that be? It's about 1 p.m. It's the PM session of the US. So it's about 2 p.m. US is typically when I'm on every day for a couple of hours until close. Well, not until close, until the last volume, because we're not going to sit here and watch this. This is going to chop around and not do a lot for the next 50 minutes, right? But if anyone has not joined the Discord or anyone who wants to support the stream, check out all the links in the description. And I'm here pretty much every day from 1 to 2 p.m. US, where we chillax, look at charts, discuss order flow. Everyone gets to learn, and we can all hang out. So appreciate you guys stopping by, and I hope you enjoy the content, which is good. Make sure if you don't know how to read the DOM, check out the links in the description. I've got a playlist specifically for order flow. If you go and check that out, there'll be videos added to it continuously. If you want to go and look at that. And if you've got any questions, leave a comment in the video or join the Discord. But until tomorrow, guys, I'm probably going to be chilling on the Discord this evening. But if you've got any questions, just feel free to let me know. No problem, Vic. Yeah, no problem. I mean, no one's obligated to do that, right? It's just a token of appreciation at the end of the day. I make my money trading and with other businesses I've got. It's just a nice way to say thanks. Because it's putting out content and stuff like that. It's more just to try and help people. It's not really something I would look to commercialize, to be honest. It'd take a while for that, but it's nice to have you guys as a community, and we can all grow together, and hopefully everyone's learning curve gets shortened with this process, right? So I appreciate you guys. Okay, I'm gonna drop off now. Hope you guys have a great evening. And I've been in Discord, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, you guys have a great evening. Thank you very much. Peace, guys.